Did organized crime accidentally invent the American jazz solo? In 1918, local authorities completely shuttered the vibrant Storyville district of New Orleans, forcing countless musicians to pack up their lives and seek employment far from home. Seeking new opportunities, cornetist Joe King Oliver boarded the Illinois Central Railroad for Chicago, joining millions of Black Americans leaving the South during the historic Great Migration. By January 1920, the Volstead Act took effect, outlawing all alcohol sales and inadvertently triggering one of the most lucrative underground economies in American history. Organized crime syndicates rapidly seized control of the illicit liquor trade, with operations like Al Capone's Chicago outfit eventually pulling in tens of millions of dollars a year to keep their patrons drinking. These mobsters funded hundreds of hidden speakeasies across the city, requiring relentless, high-energy live music that would set the stage for a musical revolution. This mob-controlled nightlife economy demanded grueling, continuous entertainment to keep the speakeasies packed and the liquor flowing. By 1922, King Oliver had established the Creole Jazz Band at the Lincoln Gardens on Chicago's South Side. To handle the physical strain and thicken his band's musical texture, Oliver knew he needed a second cornetist. He sent a request down south to his former protege, a 21-year-old Louis Armstrong, who had cut his teeth playing in Kid Ory's ensemble. With considerable trepidation, Armstrong packed his horn in a makeshift trout sack and boarded a northbound train in August of 1922, heading into an unfamiliar underworld. Upon arriving at the Illinois Central Station, Armstrong took a taxi directly to the sprawling Lincoln Gardens. Instead of attempting to outshine his mentor, the young cornetist chose to seamlessly integrate into the New Orleans collective improvisation style. He joined a rigorous ensemble that already featured heavyweights like Baby Dodds on drums, Johnny Dodds on clarinet, and a classically trained pianist named Lil Hardin. Within this complex musical ecosystem, Oliver carried the steady lead melodies, while Armstrong intuitively calculated and played the intricate harmonies just beneath him. They became a single musical mind. Together, they wove a dense, driving polyphonic texture, perfectly suited to the frenetic pace of a Prohibition-era dance hall. The intense competition for speakeasy patrons across Chicago's South Side forced the Creole Jazz Band to innovate nightly. The hallmark of their collaboration became the legendary dual cornet break. During a performance, the rhythm section would suddenly stop, allowing Oliver and Armstrong to play harmonized, two-measure cadenzas. It looked like pure telepathy. Because they never read sheet music for these interludes, the crowd was utterly bewildered. Legend holds that while the group played the preceding chorus, Oliver would silently finger his valves to signal his intended melody. Watching those fingers, Armstrong instantly calculated the second part harmony, executing it flawlessly on the spot. This nightly feat drew young musicians to the South Side to listen, and in 1923, the collaboration was finally preserved on wax. The band traveled to Richmond, Indiana, for grueling acoustic recording sessions at Gannett Records. Sound was captured directly through a large, crude megahorn connected to a cutting stylus, with no microphones to adjust the balance. Armstrong's tone was so uniquely powerful, it threatened to bump the needle right off the disc, prompting engineers to position him 15 to 20 feet back, near the studio door. He played his very first recorded solo. During these sessions, they recorded Chimes Blues. Here, the traditional collective polyphony suddenly halted, making way for something completely new. Despite the artistic success of the Richmond sessions, a quiet but profound tension began to simmer beneath the surface of the acclaimed Creole jazz band. The primary catalyst was the group's classically trained pianist, Lil Hardin, who saw something no one else dared to say. Recognizing Armstrong's undeniable technical superiority, she viewed Oliver's paternalistic control as a professional liability that actively restricted his artistic growth. In February 1924, Hardin and Armstrong married. As his deepest confidant, she systematically dismantled his reverence for his old teacher.
Louis was meant to play first, not second.
She urged the young musician to step completely out of his mentor's towering shadow, campaigning relentlessly for him to demand lead billing rather than lingering in a supporting harmonic role. This musical friction was soon compounded by a severe economic crisis. In Chicago's mob-run club scene, at venues like the Lincoln Gardens, band leaders held absolute control over venue contracts and payroll. Historical accounts suggest that Oliver was doing more than just leading the ensemble on stage. He collected a premium from the management, but secretly passed down only a fraction of those agreed earnings to the rest of the group. To make matters worse, bitter disputes erupted over sole composer credits and royalties for hits they had arranged collectively. This was particularly true for popular tracks like Dippermouth Blues, where shared creative effort was quietly erased on paper. When these hidden financial realities finally came to light, the deep trust within the famous band evaporated completely. The revelation of skimmed club contracts shattered the deep paternal bond between the two cornetists. Urged heavily by his new wife, Lil Hardin, Armstrong realized that staying as a second cornetist was stifling his artistic growth and his financial security. In the summer of 1924, he handed his resignation letter to the man who had brought him north, severing the partnership that had defined Chicago's jazz era. The departure was quiet but absolute, drawing a firm line between the collective past and a soloist-driven future. Without Armstrong's robust harmonic support and nightly brilliance, the once unrivaled Creole jazz band quickly began to falter in the unforgiving speakeasy hierarchy. Following his departure from the Creole jazz band, Louis Armstrong embarked on a journey that would forever alter American music. Driven by Lil Hardin's unyielding ambition, he accepted a highly lucrative offer to move east in late 1924, joining Fletcher Henderson's renowned orchestra in New York City. Henderson led the premier black dance ensemble of the era, though their style leaned heavily on stiff, formal arrangements rather than spontaneous invention. When the young cornetist finally stood up to play, his rhythmic brilliance cut right through the written charts. His profound phrasing stunned his new peers, shifting the very foundation of the genre, away from collective polyphony and establishing the soloist as the indisputable center of jazz. Returning to Chicago in 1925, Armstrong capitalized on his newfound stardom by recording under his own name. The resulting sessions with his Hot 5 and Hot 7 groups dismantled the New Orleans collective improvisation model entirely. Instead of weaving a dense polyphonic web, the arrangements were built primarily to showcase individual virtuosity. His blinding cadenzas and soaring melodies completely rewrote the rules of the genre. He transformed jazz from an ensemble-driven folk music into a soloist's art form, directly birthing the modern jazz idiom. While Armstrong's star ascended rapidly across the nation, King Oliver suffered a quiet and tragic reversal of fortune. Unable to adapt to the blazing new solo-eccentric style his own protege had popularized, the aging bandleader struggled to maintain relevance in a rapidly changing era. A string of poor business decisions was compounded by severe dental issues, slowly crippling his physical ability to play the very instrument that had made him famous. The man who had once ruled the lucrative Prohibition speakeasies was eventually forced to take a meager job as a pool hall janitor in the Deep South. Left destitute while his protégé's name lit up distant marquees, he passed away in poverty, separated from the booming musical industry he had so crucially helped to build. The unintended consequence of the mob's thirst for nonstop entertainment was the forging of America's greatest musical innovator. If not for the grueling demands of Chicago's underground economy, King Oliver might never have sent for his protégé in the first place. And if not for the financial exploitation within that corrupt ecosystem, Louis Armstrong might have remained a supporting player forever. The fracturing of the historic Creole jazz band catalyzed a fundamental shift in the music itself. It transformed a local dance style into a global cultural phenomenon that endures a century later, elevating the individual virtuoso to center stage.